Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving into something pretty much every university student goes through: registration.
Ah, yes, registration.
They've got this really helpful resource that kind of breaks it all down. It seems especially good for people navigating it in English.
Right, and our goal today is really just to demystify it a bit, make it feel less like, a huge maze.
Exactly. More like a clearer path.
Yeah, we're looking at a guide that simplifies things, points out the keywords you need to know, the situations you'll probably run into.
Think of it as your friendly inside track.
Precisely.
And, this isn't just for brand new students.
No, not at all.
Even if you've been around a while, or maybe you're just curious how universities work, understanding registration gives you a good peek behind the curtain.
It really does. It's
Yeah.
about getting clear and hopefully avoiding that last-minute panic.
Definitely want to avoid that. Okay, so where should we start? Maybe with some basic words.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Let's build a foundation. These are the terms you'll hear thrown around a lot. First off, the main one, registration.
Uh-huh.
So this is just the official act of signing up, enrolling in your classes for the semester or term.
Right, like someone might ask, did you finish your registration for the fall?
Exactly that. Then there's your advisor.
Okay, advisor, important person.
Very important, usually. Think of them as your academic guide at the university.
So they help you choose courses.
Yes, they help you make smart choices, figure out which classes fit your major, your interests, that sort of thing.
Makes sense.
Then we have prerequisite. This one's crucial.
Prerequisite. Okay, what's that about?
It's basically a course you have to pass before you're allowed to take a more advanced one in the same subject.
Ah, okay, like you need the intro class first.
Exactly. You can't jump into organic chemistry without taking intro chemistry first, usually. It ensures you've got the basics down.
Got it. And what about credits? Hear that all the time.
Yep, credits. These are like points you earn for passing a course.
Points towards your degree.
Precisely. You need to collect a certain number of these credits to graduate. A typical class might be worth, say, 3 credits.
Okay, that clears that up. One more.
Let's do semester.
Semester. Simple enough.
Pretty simple. It just splits the main academic year, usually into 2 halves, fall semester, spring semester.
So you might say, I'm swamped. I've got 5 classes this semester.
Exactly. Understanding these 5 terms, registration, advisor, prerequisite, credits, semester, that's really your starting point.
Okay, cool. So we have the lingo down. How about we see it in action, like in a typical conversation?
Yeah, let's walk through a common scenario. Imagine a student, maybe it's their first time, they show up to register.
Right, nervous first day vibes.
Maybe a bit. So they walk up to a desk and a staff member greets them,
Friendly face, hopefully.
hopefully. And a really common first question they might ask is, have you met with your academic advisor yet?
Ah, see. Bringing the advisor in right away.
Exactly. It flags how important that meeting often is.
So what if the student hasn't?
Then the staff member will almost certainly recommend doing that first.
Before actually signing up for classes.
Yep, because the advisor is the one who can really help them pick the right courses, especially based on what they plan to study their major.
Sets them on the right track from day one.
That's the idea. So the student would naturally ask, okay, where do I find my advisor?
Makes sense. Need directions.
Right. And the staff member gives them the location maybe. Oh, they're in the student services building, room 210.
Practical info.
And the student says thanks, and off they go.
Simple exchange, but it shows a lot.
It really does. Now, we can maybe break down some of the specific phrases used there.
Yeah, let's dig into why that language matters.
Yeah.
Like the student saying, I'm here to register for classes.
Right. It seems obvious, but it's perfectly clear. No ambiguity. The staff knows exactly why you're there.
Direct and efficient. Okay, what about the staff asking, have you met with your academic advisor yet?
Well, that question really highlights the university support system, right? It points towards a recommended first step, especially for new students. It suggests there's a process.
It's not just showing up and picking randomly.
Not usually, no. And then the statement, your advisor will help you choose the right courses.
Yeah.
That emphasizes the guidance available. It reassures the student they're not totally on their own figuring this out.
There's help available.
Exactly. These simple lines actually reveal quite a bit about how the university structures this whole process.
That's a good point. Okay, shifting gears slightly, what about the questions that students often have? Things that might be running through your head as you approach registration.
Oh yeah, there are definitely some common ones.
Yeah.
Probably top of the list is, when does registration actually open?
Right, the timing.
Crucial.
Absolutely critical. Knowing the dates, the deadlines. Missing that window can be a real problem.
Mm.
Classes fill up.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck with 8 a.m. Friday classes if you can avoid it.
Exactly. Another big one. How many credits do I need to graduate? Uh-huh. Knowing the finish line.
Yeah, it gives you that overall target. Helps you plan how many courses or credits to aim for each semester.
Good planning tool. What else?
Back to prerequisites. Students often ask, are there any prerequisites for this specific course?
Makes sense. Checking before you try to sign up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You need to know if you've got the foundation laid to even get into that class.
Yeah.
Helps you map out your sequence of courses.
Right. And what about flexibility? Like, can I change my major later?
That's a really common one, especially for first and second years.
Yeah, a lot of pressure to choose early sometimes.
Totally. So understanding if and how you can change your major down the line can be a big relief for some students.
Good to know the options. Any others?
Well, with everything now, a big question is this course offered online?
Ah, the format. In-person, online, hybrid.
Exactly. Knowing the options helps you choose what works best for your schedule, your learning style,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
So asking these questions up front is pretty smart.
Definitely empowers you to make better choices.
Okay, so we've hit the basics, seen a scenario, tackled common questions. Are there other words, maybe slightly more advanced terms, that are good to know?
Yeah, definitely. As you get deeper into university life, a few more terms become really useful. Expanding the toolkit, you know?
Let's hear them.
Okay, first, major,
The big one.
the big one. Your main area of study, biology, business, art history, whatever your primary focus is.
Got it. And sometimes people have a minor.
Exactly. A minor is a secondary field to study.
Yeah.
Fewer courses than a major, but still a significant focus. Lets you explore another interest.
Like majoring in business and minoring in Spanish.
Perfect example. Then you have electives.
Ah, the fun ones.
Often, yeah. These are courses you get to choose more freely outside your specific major or minor requirements.
So you can explore something totally different.
Precisely. Broaden your horizons, take that pottery class or film studies course you were curious about.
Nice. Okay, what's next?
Core courses. They were the opposite of electives, in a way.
Meaning required.
Yes, these are the required foundational classes within your major. Everyone in that major has to take them.
The essentials for that field.
Exactly. And one last crucial one, the drop-add period.
Ooh, sounds important. And potentially useful.
Very useful. It's a specific window of time, usually right at the start of the semester.
Like the first week or two.
Typically, yeah. During this period, you can change your schedule, drop a course you don't want, add another one that opened up, usually without any academic or financial penalty.
So a safety net if you realize a class isn't right for you.
Exactly. Give you a little flexibility right at the beginning.
Good to know about. Okay, maybe let's quickly connect this back to that first conversation we walked through.
Yeah, good idea. Thinking back to that student arriving.
I'm here to register for classes.
Right. Now, you hear that as step one in this whole system. And when the staff mentions the academic advisor
And choosing courses for your major.
and checking prerequisites later on.
Yeah.
All those terms we just unpacked suddenly have more weight, more context.
You see how the vocabulary actually functions in the real interaction.
Exactly. It's not just a list of words, it's the language of the process.
Okay, this is all super helpful for understanding it, but how about actually doing it? Any tips for making registration go smoothly? Proactive strategies.
Absolutely. We can definitely cover some actionable advice.
Let's do it. How can you make registration less stressful?
Okay, number one, and maybe the most important, plan ahead.
Don't wait to the last minute.
Please don't. Way before your registration time slot opens, do your homework. Look up courses, read the descriptions.
Check those prerequisites we talked about.
Yes. See what fits your degree plan. Maybe even draft a couple of potential schedules. Talk to your advisor if you can.
Being prepared makes a huge difference. What else?
Meet your deadlines. Seriously.
We mentioned this, but it bears repeating.
It really does. Those registration windows aren't suggestions. Popular classes fill up incredibly fast.
So know when your time is and be ready to go.
Exactly. Set a reminder, block out the time, make it a priority.
Okay. Plan ahead, meet deadlines. Anything else?
Ask questions. Don't ever hesitate.
If something's confusing.
Reach out. Your advisor, the registrar's office, department staff, someone can help. It's way better to ask beforehand than to mess something up.
Good point. Don't guess.
Right. And finally, stay organized.
How so?
Keep track of what you register for. Note the course numbers, times, locations. Keep an eye on the credits you're earning each semester.
Like a little spreadsheet or list?
Whatever works for you, it just helps you monitor your progress towards graduation and make sure you're taking what you need.
Solid advice. Planning, deadlines, asking questions, staying organized.
Yeah, doing those things really can lower the stress level and make you feel more in control of your academic path.
Okay, so wrapping things up for today's deep dive on university registration.
We covered quite a bit.
We really did. We unpacked that key vocabulary advisor, credits, prerequisites, all that.
We walked through a typical first interaction.
Looked at common questions students have and some strategies for making the process smoother.
I think the main takeaway really is that being prepared and communicating clearly are your best friends here.
Yeah, and knowing who to ask for help, like your advisor.
Definitely.
And understanding all this isn't just about getting through registration week.
No, it gives you a much better handle on the whole academic environment, doesn't it?
It really does. It empowers you to make smarter choices about your education, engage more confidently with the whole university system.
Well said.
So as we finish up, here's something to maybe chew on. We've talked about this, fairly structured, almost traditional process of registration. With online learning becoming so much more common and sophisticated, how do you think these registration systems might change in the future?
That's a fascinating question.
Could it get simpler, more complex? What new challenges or maybe opportunities might pop up for students and for the universities themselves as education keeps evolving?
Yeah, will things become more automated, more personalized, or will new hurdles appear? Definitely something interesting to think about as things shift.
Food for thought.